Uh, So in previous cohorts, we did this thing called Filter Fridays. So I'll have to introduce that to you guys. It's like we just all put on a filter, crazy filters. So, just introduce some stuff to slow down your machine. It'll be great.
Oh yeah, thanks.
So let's get started. It's gonna take a minute. Let's start the recording. Oh, okay, cool. So today we're going to do two things. We're going to talk about HTML and CSS. And in the pre-work, you are exposed to HTML and CSS. What's going to happen throughout the cohort is you're going to be introduced to HTML again and CSS again a couple times. And that's because it's a technology that's been built on, and it came about in 1990-ish. And so it's been 30 some odd years, and there's a lot to learn. You don't have to remember everything. I always tell people, what you're going to remember is what you do over and over. What you repeat, that's what you're going to remember. Everything that I go over today is something that you will repeat over and over throughout this cohort, and you should consider it stuff that you can do, that you need to know. So for today's lesson in HTML and CSS, some of the stuff you may know of, you may have used, but I always tell all my students that it's all about reps. So it's all about implementing these on a project and playing with them, and that's going to help reinforce things for you. So it's what you do on the day-to-day that's going to stick. All right, so let's jump right in. I'm going to share my screen. Share the screen first. All right. So here we go, an introduction to HTML again for you guys. Welcome to week 1. Basically, we're gonna build a static HTML web page from scratch, and we're gonna identify some common HTML elements. We're gonna assign some attributes to elements. You're gonna learn about attributes, and you're gonna learn how to correctly indent your markup. That is very important. And we're gonna talk about semantic elements. So specifically, there's gonna be a lab at the end that'll give you another opportunity, another rep, for lack of a better word, to practice some of these things. I'm going to show you some really good resources. Once again, you don't have to remember, but you do have to practice. So that is the thing. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about HTML. So like the 3 fundamental client-side technologies of an app are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Client-side is what we interact with on the web page. So with HTML, we have like the information. The CSS handles the appearance, and the JavaScript handles the behavior of the web page. In a very high level, that's what's going on. So the structure and content of a web page, that's the HTML or the text markup language. That's what HTML stands for. And you know, if you're wondering, where did hypertext markup language come from? Like, why did they make this language back in the 90s? It was used, scientists, people that were doing research at universities were using this to send documents back and forth. So it was a way of like of documenting, and it is the public. We have used it on the World Wide Web to document all types of stuff, blogs, Google. Now we use it to talk to each other. So it's morphed over the years. Let's talk about the essential HTML5 boilerplates. This is the version of HTML that we're going to be using today. So I'm going to open my VS Code. You can do this with me, and we're going to learn we're going to learn how to start a boilerplate. So where's my VS Code? Here it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my terminal. You can do this in VS Code, or you can do it in your terminal or your command line if you're in Windows. I'm going to put this folder on my desktop for now. So I'm going to CD there. And I'm going to see what's there. And then I'm going to make a folder. So mkdir, and I'll send you these commands in a second, so don't worry about it. Just watch. I'm going to call this HTML CSS 37 is the name of our cohort, or the number. And then I'm going to CD into that folder. Great, there should be nothing in there, and there isn't. And I am going to open that folder by just saying code. I'll open that up in VS Code for me. Cool, you'll do that a million times in your life. Let me drop those commands to you. Okay. There you go. You can put it on your desktop, you can put it anywhere you want. Shay, question?
I'm just trying to follow along with you. I've only done this in the terminal. So is this gonna pull up? Because like usually I can tab it. Like if I'm trying to, so I went make directory HTML-CSS 37. Oops. So I tried CD HTML and it popped up to like tab in, but just popped HTML up. Like it doesn't seem like it's really following along with what I'm doing. Am I in the, I want to make sure I'm in the right place for it to
Share your screen for me.
Yeah.
Nice music.
Cannot start while other is sharing. Okay. So I'm right here.
Okay. Okay. You're not really in the terminal right now, so
Yeah, that's the problem. Thank you.
click on the terminal at the bottom of your screen. Yep.
Bam.
There you go. So you're gonna run these
Oh,
commands.
so I'm doing, so okay, got you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And
Kai, is that your name?
10
Oh, Teen. Okay, great.
on the way together. But, how you open that terminal again?
You can do command spacebar and just type in terminal and then hit enter.
No, I mean how you open the terminal in whatever you just saw.
Oh, in VS Code?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll show you. Hold on. So in VS Code, if you just kind of hover over the bottom, in between the blue and the black line, and click, you can drag that up. Yep. And that's your terminal.
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah. Small detail. Sorry about that. Nancy?
My VS Code looks different. I don't see what you're seeing right now.
Okay. You want to share your screen really quick?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, okay. 1 second. So this is what I'm seeing.
Okay. So can you hover over the bottom of your
Right
yeah.
here.
Click on it. Yep, and then hover over the bottom, that bottom line, really slowly. Okay. So scroll up a little bit. So like not the bottom, yeah, right there. Yep. And pull up. So click. Gotta wait for the arrow to show up. You can also just do this in the terminal if you want.
Okay, so like here.
Yeah.
Okay. So just put in the information that you sent us.
Yeah, sure. CD into your desktop first. Okay. So
Okay.
LS, run LS. Where are you? Yeah, you're home. So CD desktop or anywhere, doesn't matter. There you go.
Okay.
Then enter the commands.
Okay.
Cool. KP.
Nothing. It was just asking if we could use the Replit to do it in Replit, but it's cool if we do it in Terminal. So
You can do it in REPL too, if you want.
all right.
Yeah. Monique.
Is there like a real purpose of why we're opening the VS Code? thingy?
Yes, because I'm going to show you some cool VS Code stuff.
Okay, I was just like wondering, like the why are we opening it? What does it do? Type thing, like the bare minimum. Like what does it do?
Have you guys used VS Code yet?
No.
No.
Yeah, I have.
So, okay, you guys have been like coding in Replit?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, welcome to VS Code. As a developer, you're going to be using IDEs all the time. You won't be coding in REPL, but I get it. It saves time. But yeah, you're gonna use VS Code on a day-to-day, or if you're dealing with Java, you'll use something else. There's Atom. There's lots of different IDEs out there. You want to get familiar with something.
The first day, Jim had us specifically tell us, whoever has Linux, you download these things. Whoever has Mac, you download these things. And whoever has Windows, you download things. And that's why we're kind of just like in the comfort zone of certain websites, and that's why I don't have VS downloaded, for example. I don't have it downloaded.
VS Code is part of it.
It's part of what?
You're gonna need a text editor in this class. It's crucial.
VS Code is part of your was one of the things you should.
Yeah.
Nope.
Everybody has that.
Sorry.
Yes, Ryan.
Point. We had it when we did our install fest.
Yep.
A lot of people got stuck, and then it ended up being a situation where like if you didn't finish everything, we were gonna like come back to it, and I think maybe we didn't get time to come back.
Okay, so that's important. So if you still don't have things downloaded like Python or VS Code or some of these things, I would definitely talk to your IAs. There's office hours too. You got to get, so, and just in general, when you're in this course, it's really fast paced. So if you get to the end of the day, like you want to have everything done before the next day. Okay, so that we're not really we'll check on you, but you've got to take that on yourself to keep track of, okay, did I deliver is my deliverable done? You know, did I finish downloading everything I needed? If not, you gotta hit me up, hit an IA up, and let us know so we can get you going. It's not one of those things you can wait till Friday. In this course, you can't wait a day. You can't miss a day because it's too much information. So Install Fest has to be finished. Cool. Mariana.
Hi. When I put the after touch index.html, I
Cool.
put in code. Is there supposed to be a dot there?
Yes.
So I did
space
that.
dot.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I did that, and then it says not found. It says
Oh,
command not found code.
okay. Cool.
Same for me. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
said code
Maybe-
space dot, right?
It's okay. If code dot doesn't work, we'll fix that later. Just open the folder in VS Code.
Yeah, I do have VS Code open.
Okay, cool.
It should be
With your-
code dot, it should be code space period, not code period return. Hit code, then type in code, then put the space, then type period, then hit return. And
Yeah.
that should open it.
I put
Yeah,
that, but I still
I
got the
did.
same error.
Yeah, it says command not found.
Yeah, if you don't have it installed, there's an installation thing you gotta do. So don't worry about it. Just open it up in the VS Code manually. Cool.
Okay.
Okay. Is your hand still up from before?
Yeah, it is. No, it's not. It's up again. I just wanted to, you really said it, man. This is a fast paced thing. So let me just make sure I'm here. So in my normal terminal, I went ahead and I was able to get that index HTML in there and stuff. If you don't mind running through, I know you did, I wasn't situated, I had to move around, and I know you walked somebody through it already, but could you help me open the terminal in VS Code so I'm up to par on,
Yeah, I'll show you guys.
what we're doing? Thank you so much, brother.
No problem. So I have a VS Code window open here. So if I hover over this little white line down here, I'm sorry, kill that.
Sorry to chime in. I actually need to be able to navigate to where I'm able to see the console. I see you have a bar on the, well, no you don't, but for a second you had a bar with your console.
Yeah. So I'm
And everything.
hovering over this, and then this little arrow, and then shows up, and you can click and drag up your terminal.
So I'm gonna go ahead and hit open. Oh, man. Yeah, because I'm not getting any of that. So I don't know what I did.
But you're in VS Code, right?
I am in VS Code. Okay, so now get started. I see what, start a new file,
Um,
and then I'll be able to go. Because I am now seeing that. I have to split the pages, so I don't know if maybe I'm not seeing
Yeah.
it because of that.
you should make this your main page.
I know, but I got to see what you're doing at the same time.
Okay.
It's been my biggest
You want
struggle
to
this
share your
whole
screen
class.
really quick?
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. I'll do it. Go ahead and share screen. I'm going to pop this full size. Okay, now this is pretty much where I saw you. I think you were at.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Go to the bottom of the screen.
Mhm.
I can't see the bottom of your.
Oh, is that it?
There you go.
Thank you. Okay,
There
thank
it
you. I
is.
was tripping. All right, stop
You're
it,
good.
sharing.
No problem.
Thank you so much, bro.
All right, let's get going. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so you guys have this. I'm gonna do touch. Sorry, index dot HTML. And you should see over here on the left an index.html file appear. You can also click this little plus button and you can create a file that way. So that's how that works. What I want to show you first is if you type in a bang or a exclamation point, Emmet has a little abbreviation and it will allow you to create a template. And a boilerplate is the word. And also, I'll do that again. If you do 3 bangs, you just get this little HTML tag or this little doc type tag. So 1 bang, now we have a template. Cool. I'm gonna keep it moving here. So what you're gonna find inside of this is a bunch of tags. And so this is a tag, this is a tag, this is a tag, and this is a head tag, a meta tag, a title tag, an HTML tag. And these little slashes, backslashes, mean that it's closing. So if you don't have a backslash, it's an opening tag, and if you have one, it's a closing tag. All right. So that's a boilerplate. So that's a good place to start when we're talking about writing code. All right. When you use Emmet, you get these 3 meta tags, and what they do is, it's for metadata, and it makes it better for viewing on mobile devices and Internet Explorer versions. All right, so HTML documents consist of elements that define the structure and content of a web page. We already know that. But we also have tags. So that's what I was just talking to you guys about. That's what this is a P tag, which is a paragraph tag. And they have opening tag, closing tag. All right. Now there are some tags that open and they don't close. For example, the image tag or the BR tag. So those are called empty tags. They just don't close. So you'll get used to that. And then an element is a tag with everything that's inside of it. So an element consists of a tag and all of its contents, if it has any. So some tags, like BR tags, you'll see and there'll be nothing in them. like no text in them, but most tags will have something in it. So this is the P tag that has have a, and then it has a span tag, and great, and then more text day, and then a closing P tag. So this is an element. Okay. All right, and then some elements like TD would be pointless without a TR. So TD is a table cell, is a table or table data, and then you'll never see that without a table row or a TR element with it inside of it. So good to know. So now I'm going to talk about the different types of elements, and really there's two. So there's like most of them are block out. They're either block elements or they're inline elements. And what that means is a block element, they display on their own and they take up the full width of the page. And I'll show you that in a second. So a div is a block element, H1 is a block element, and P is a block element. So even though all you see is a little text on the page, actually that element, that div, remember an element is everything with its contents. Even though this H1, all you see is a little bit of text, is actually taking up the width of the page. And then there are inline elements, but they only take, inline elements only take up the space of the content that's inside of it. So I'm gonna show you what that means right now, before I move on to attributes. I don't see any hands up. So are you guys feeling comfortable? Is this all stuff that we already know? Any questions? Shay?
Sorry about that. Lowered.
Okay, Lily.
Yes, I have a question. So what are the different block elements and inline elements when a website is being rendered?
Can you say
I
that
don't
one more time? The
Oh,
last
I
part?
just, yeah, I'm just asking the difference between block elements and inline elements when a website is being rendered, like when.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you in a second. So like a block element, I'll show you. Because that's
I'm asking because I saw that question in an interview, honestly.
You're good. All right, so we have this. I am going to go live down here. Run a live server. It's gonna take me to port 550. Wonderful. That works. So an example of a block element would be an H1. So just in general, tags are lowercase. So you're going to be using lowercase when you're dealing with HTML. I'm going to put some text in here. This is my first title tag. I can type. Cool. I'm going to save this. And let's go to port 550 here. All right. So what you see here is, this is my H1. It says this is my first title. What I want you guys to notice is if I actually inspect this page by right-clicking and hitting inspect, my H1 tag is highlighted now, and it actually takes up the entire width of the page. My body tag does the same thing. Okay, so that's a block element. An inline element is different. So let's use the span tag. An inline element only uses the space of its contents. So let's see what that looks like. So I'm gonna go to my code, and inside of my H1. Even simpler is I'm just gonna start. So you can just start typing span and VS Code says, I think you're trying to use a span tag. And if you hit enter, it'll autocomplete for you. I'm gonna put some text in here. It's gonna say this is a span. And it doesn't take up much space. So save that. Okay, so if I actually inspect this, my span tag only takes up the space of the contents of that tag. Whole page, only space of content. Cool?
Yes, thank you.
Super simple. But very important when you're dealing with a bunch of elements all over your website that you're trying to fit together. Cool. So let's talk about attributes. So
I had a really quick
elements can-
question.
Oh, hello, Maya.
Hey, sorry. Is that an extension to add like the port button into VS Code? I just don't see that in currently, like when you can click into it and actually see the server with the HTML page.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually. So I'll show you. So if you go in VS Code on the right, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, a little thing that says extensions. You can click on this. And if you type in live, there's this little one called live server.
Cool.
So
Thank you.
yeah, you guys should use that. Tricks of the trade. Tricks of the trade. Charlie.
Yeah, mine says it's installed already, but I don't see it. Says like when I bring up live server, when I search it in the extensions, it says uninstall, which I assume means I already have it installed.
Yep.
Where can I find it?
Oh, you mean you don't see it at the bottom of your?
Oh, dude. Oh my God. All right, cool. Thanks, man. Sorry.
It's okay. You know, I miss stuff down there all the time. Okay, cool. All right, so elements can have attributes. So basically, attributes provide additional information about the element. There are a few attributes like required, checked, no validate, and disabled that kind of stand alone. Those are called Boolean Boolean attributes. Say that fast 10 times. But most of them are going to, most of them are going to have this little equal sign. So I'll show you. So this is an example of a class attribute, and I can give it a name, my class. So this is an attribute of this element, actually. All right. So that's an attribute. There are lots of different types of attributes. We're going to do a little exercise in a minute to go over those. But the most popular ones are class and ID. IDs basically target a specific element, and a class will group a bunch of elements. So an ID is going to have a unique name, and a class, well, is a group of elements that you're trying to style, or you're trying to do some sort of calculations with. You can also make your own custom attributes, and those use this tag data. And you'll see this a whole lot in Angular. But yeah, it looks kind of like this. Let's see. And we can say maybe this is like a counting attribute, and I want to say so. What I will do is I will post a little article on creating your own custom attributes in the chat right now. We won't do that today, but definitely something you should do tonight when you're done with everything else. So I think I actually have it up here. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. So I'll drop that in the chat. Cool. Great. So quick aside, you don't have to remember everything. There's this wonderful website called MDN, Mozilla Developer Network. And it's got everything that you need to know about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and web APIs, and HTTP. So, but what I will show you, we're talking about tags in the markup language. If I forgot what a body tag is, I could go in here and click on it, and it'll tell me, you know, the body HTML element represents the content of an HTML document. There can only be one body element in a document, you know. And we were talking about attributes. There's an A-link attribute, a background attribute, a B-color attribute, right? So I can try each of these attributes if I wanted to. Let's do it. Let's use the BG color attribute. So this is the background color of a document. And this one says I use background color property on the element instead. So let's do that. So I'm gonna go here. And go to my body. And I'm gonna say background color. Blue. And I'm gonna save it. And I'm gonna refresh it, and it's not gonna work. Wow. This will happen to you in life. Oh, and this is really good too. You'll see this is read it out. And this holds the same information that is in MDN. So if I hover over this, it's going to say the same thing we just read, background color for the document, but this method's non-conforming. Use CSS background color property on the element instead. And if I hover over body, it'll say the body element represents the content of the document. And then I can click on this and it'll take me right to MDN. So this is really good when you're reading some code and you do not know what this is. Say you have this template. If you hover over this lang attribute, you'll see, oh, this helps define the language of an element. The language that non-editable elements are in, or the language that editable elements should be written in by the user. So that'll be useful to you a lot throughout your career. So I'm expecting this. Let's go to H1 and let's do font. Font size equals 600 pixels. Oh, it doesn't like me today. Okay. Matt, what's happening?
I was just wondering about the portion that you were hovering over and it was showing up with that message. Mine's not doing that one, and I'm wondering if that's, yeah, that's one of your extensions that you installed, and which extension is that?
Nope, that's not an extension.
Oh,
is it not working for anyone else?
If you right click on your mouse and then go to definition, when you hover over it, it'll give you the same thing.
gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Is that working for you?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that works too.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. Let's keep moving. So data, IDs, I'll get back to that. We're not going to talk about white space. This is how you comment in an HTML document. I usually just do command/. So if I go, let's go here. Let's say I want to comment out some code. Let's comment out this whole thing. If I do command/, it'll wrap it in this and create a comment. And then that'll disappear from my browser. So it's gone. Great. Simple enough. Matt is back.
Nope. I just never lowered it.
Okay, cool.
My bad.
Okay, I'll take questions in a second because I just want to talk about nesting and some other things, and then we have to do a workout here. So nesting is basically when one tag is inside of another. So this is an interesting example of nesting. This is a better example. So we have a head tag, and we have these meta tags inside of it. A very small version of nesting. So usually this body, this head and this head tag and this body tag will be all the way to the left. I've never seen any code like this where the head and the body weren't all the way to the left. So, but yeah, there you go. So that's nesting. If anyone asks you, that's what it looks like. Properly indenting all your code is mandatory if you want a job. That is very true. You've gotta indent properly. I'll show you another extension. A lot of developers use extensions so they can do this stuff quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncomment this, and I'm going to poorly indent. Yeah, that looks terrible. Let's see how bad I can make this. Oh yeah, that looks bad. That's bad. This will get you fired. Don't do this. All right, so I use Prettier. So if you go here, you type in Prettier. It's a code formatter that you can download into VS Code. And what it will do is if I right click on this and I say format document, boom, everything is pretty much the way it should be. You still have to check it. It's not 100%, but that's a good extension to use to save your job. Save your job. Shay is back. What's happening?
Brother, hey, can you show me how to, am I gonna get Prettier installed through the terminal? And if so, can you show me
No,
the way?
you are going to go to VS Code and you are going to click on extensions and you're going to type in Prettier and you're going to download this.
Extensions, all right, let me see.
Yes. Cool. That's all you got to do.
Can you just show me one more time where extensions is? Sorry.
Oh, it's the fourth one down on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I lied. Fifth one.
Thank you so much.
Cool. I'm going to answer questions in a minute because it might be answered on its own. All right. So with when we're talking about nesting, this other topic comes up with relationships. And so you'll hear things like child, descendant, and siblings a lot. Mostly child, siblings, you know, kind of descendant. I've never heard anyone in, you know, on a dev team talking about ancestors, but basically an element is a descendant if it's nested anywhere within its ancestor. All right, so let's talk about ancestry. So this would be, or this meta tag would be a child of this head. And then the head would be a child of HTML. So these are descendants. These are ancestors. But you're going to hear parent, child. Child of head is how you'll hear that. Child of body. Okay? Don't overthink it. Cool. Let's talk about semantics. So basically, semantic HTML helps express like the meaning of the content. So back in the day, not that long ago, you might have, or this says HTML4, that's back in the day, you'd have a class called post. You'd have a div with an ID called header because there's only one header. Instead, nowadays we have just a tag called header, a tag called article, and you can have multiple articles. And we have a tag called footer. Okay, and so the benefits are it makes the intention of the developer more clear. So I know if you have an article tag, you know, like this, then it's probably not a header. It's going to be on top of your page. I know what you meant. And it's really good for search engine optimization. So that's important to use those. So really just pay attention to like your classes. You know, are you using an ID when you could just use a nav tag, you know? You know, you don't want to be having like IDs with using header, basically using words that are already in the language. So what I want you guys to do is research these 8 tags. I'm going to put a timer on and give you 2 minutes. I want you to go to the MDM site that I showed you, Mozilla Web Developer, and I want you to look up these 8 things, and then I'm going to ask you about them in 2 minutes. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll copy these, drop them in the chat, and I'll give you 2 minutes. Christian, how's it going?
Yeah, so you mentioned that you had never seen the tags like head and body spaced out, and but the prettier spaces it out. Is that okay? Like,
Sure, that's fine.
okay.
All right. How are your skills reading documentation? I will tell you that a lot of your time as a developer, especially early on, is going to be, I need to solve this problem. I need to go and search through a long, big stack of unorganized documentation, and I need to apply something that I found. So I'm going to call on a random name here. And you can give me a quick blurb on, and it's okay if you read, on what the section tag does. How about, oh, can you raise your hand if you looked up section tag? That's a better way to do it. Okay, Matt is back. How about Daisha? Can you tell me what a section tag does?
Yes, you said we can read.
Sure, you can put it in your own words.
Okay. So basically, a section is just to like, it's supposed to be used for something that's not as specific. So like if it's not like a actual article, you would use section to kind of like, you know, break it off and separate it out.
Okay, cool. Good. All right. All right, yeah. First, y'all put y'all hands down, unless you know what the article tag does. Who's got article tag? How about Shauna?
The article tag it represents a section that has information in it that's meant to be distributed separately, like a blog post, a user comment, or a literal newspaper article a section, like in a newspaper article. That's how I like to think about it. A blog post, anything that you would type up and someone would, it has its own separate purpose. It can be taken separately out of the page that is on, that will go on the article attribute.
Okay, question for the class. What would be the difference between a section tag and an article tag? Chantel is literally raising her hand.
I can't see myself on the screen. I can't tell if my hand was actually raised. So basically, a section tag is a sectioned element within like the web page, but the article tag, it's like a standalone element. It's not like a portion of something.
Wonderful. All right, how about main? Who checked out the main tag? Brian. Nice filter.
Oh, thank you. It specifies the main content of a document.
Okay. Perfect. Cool. How about figure? Holo? Did I butcher it again?
It's okay. Yeah, it rhymes with hollow, if that helps. It's similar to an article, but it's usually an image with potentially with a caption. It's something that could float around the page if necessary.
All right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Man, y'all are great. All right, cool. So that's a little HTML. Consider those tags things that you should really really know well. And the best way to know anything is to practice. So what I want to give you guys like a practice idea is to create a blog. So you guys have been using REPL or Replit. They have a blog on this website. Did you know that? And you can, let's find one. Okay, getting started with Solidity on REPL. It doesn't even matter. How about this one on design to code better? What I would do, your task is to create this page. Okay. So like hover, make an H3 or H2 here. Let's get the different fonts going. What would these be? What kind of tags would I use for these paragraphs here? So yes. Question.
Sorry, I didn't raise my hand, but I haven't seen styling in HTML like that before, like we were doing just now. Usually we would take the font, whatever font weight, font type, font everything in CSS. So do you want us to do all this in HTML? And when do you want this done by?
This is not going to be delivered. You'll have a deliverable, but yes, you need CSS, which brings us to our next topic, CSS. So I wouldn't ask you to do something if I didn't tell you, right? So I'm going to show you guys how to do some CSS.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Can you please share the link for the designer blog in the Slack channel?
Link for what?
Is you mind to share the link for the designer blog at the Slack channel?
Oh, the Replit? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of, there is a lot of blog and yeah, make it easier.
It's Replit's blog, but that's cool too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, someone already did it. Thank you so much. Cool. Let's keep moving here. So yeah, or you don't even have to like, you can build your own blog, you know, and just use that design. That big, beautiful blue background color, right? So let's talk about how we can make that happen. So just really quick, we're familiar with CSS. There's other styling versions and technologies and frameworks and all of that, but this is the one that gets you into all of that. So I still have people raising hands. Brian, what's happening? Nope. Okay, so
Sorry
if you
about
don't
that.
mean for your, yeah, if you don't mean for your hand to be up, just go ahead and put it down. Shamik.
Hi. So I just want to know, like, we're obviously going to be learning like CSS. Are we going to learn like SAS or
No.
less? No.
Nope. So that's what I was saying was like SAS is great. You need to know CSS first. So when you know this, then SAS will be easy for you. Lily, did you mean for your hand to still be up or did you want to put it down? Okay, great. Great. So this is so if we can, you know, to do CSS in HTML, then why do we need to learn something else, you know? CSS like enables us to separate. There's this thing called separation of concerns in technology, and it allows for programs to be more maintainable and for us to reuse code a lot easier. So that's why we have an index.html document and a CSS document. So the syntax is super simple. You have a selector, you have a property, and you have a value. And your properties and values together make a declaration, and those go inside of a code block. Cool. Let's dive in a little bit. So like this selector is exactly what it sounds like. It's used to select the elements that you want to style. So this H1 is a selector, and we're selecting all H1 elements here. All right. Then we have properties. Color is a property, and then we have a colon, and then we have a value. And you'll see that all over the place in web development. And then a value, right? So properties can have certain values. So each property, you know, it's not like, you know, any property can have any value, right? Every property is pretty unique. So we'll talk about that. There's some basic properties that you should know. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to use one of these 3 links and find a property and tell me what it is and what it does. I'll drop it in the chat. I will give you like 2 minutes once again. Cool, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. That says 2 hours. 2 minutes.
You said you want us to post those in the chat real quick?
Yeah, you can post in the thread if you want. Because I won't get a chance to call on everyone, but
Can you actually tell me more about the animation property that I wrote about? Because it sounds pretty rad, but I don't know how I would apply it.
sweet. So I'm not sure who was speaking.
That was me, Shay.
Okay, cool. Cool. This is everything that you need to know about CSS animations. It has subproperties: animation name, animation duration, timing function, delay, iteration count, direction, film mode, and play state. It's got keyframes. I would start here.
Thank you.
Yep. Cool. Who wants to share? These are some great things. Mark Fraser wants to share.
Yeah, one of my favorite ones is the opacity. And basically you can change the transparency of a particular tag or text.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's opacity. So yeah, we're gonna go through these and try some. So there's also some things called shorthand properties, and a really popular one is margin font too. But if you look here at margin, you'll see, okay, so we're doing the margin, which is the space around an element. We have margin top, so like the space on the top. We have margin right, space on the right, space on the bottom, and the space on the left. You can also write it like this. So instead of writing margin top, margin right, margin bottom, margin left, if you have different, different numbers, in the case here it's pixels, if you have different values for the different margins, right, top, bottom, left, you can space them out like this. So this is equivalent to this. Okay. Great. I'm gonna keep going because you guys got lunch in a second. Let's do. Okay. So for this, basically we're gonna take a CSS. We're gonna make a file, and we'll do this after lunch. What we're gonna do is we're going to make a CSS file, and then we're going to style the HTML and use a bunch of elements. And then you'll be able to make a pretty web page. Any questions before we go to lunch? Libby?
I think I missed some of the information, but I want to make sure. The designing block is meant to do for us to do it today.
I'm sorry, you broke up.
Sorry, my headphones are really bad. That's the
That's okay.
problem. But I was asking, the designing block is meant to be done today, right?
Oh, I'm not gonna grade it.
Oh, it's just for practice.
Yeah.
One more question. So if we are practicing this, it's okay we just copy and paste, for example, the paragraph, because typing all of these things seems like kind of.
Yeah, please.
All right. All right.
Not
Thank
copy and
you.
paste the paragraph. Like, don't. That's not the point, right? Mark, did you still have a question, or was your hand just still up?
No question.
Okay. Mariana.
Hi, sorry. How do we get day 3 stuff to pop up on the browser? Because I only see day 2 still.
Are you on your fork, or are you on the actual?
I'm on my fork, but I've been looking at the notes that you sent on the link. I mean, you sent through the Slack. So it says 11 instead of saying 3-7.
Yeah, if you it's just because your fork is still out of date. If you just click on the actual original repo, it'll be up to date.
On the 3-7?
Yep. So not your fork.
Wait, I don't see that.
Okay, so where it says in like the top left, it has like your GitHub name.
Mhm.
And then you see where it says forked from right below that.
Yeah.
Just click that where it says forked from, that SEICC.
Mhm.
And then when
But
you click on that should have everything up to date.
I don't think you need to fork it again.
No, you don't need to fork
Is
it again.
Is you already done that the field class? You don't have to. What you can try to do is to pull the string in the terminal from the main, so it will update the day 3 in your.
And then that will update your fork. Yes, you're right, Lily. But
yeah, because you fork again, you already did that, so you don't need to.
Cool. Yeah. Can you guys connect? I'll stay for questions. Like anybody that's got questions, I'll stay. Everyone else go to lunch because it's lunchtime. And I'll see you guys here in an hour. Anthony, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. It's just about the code thing. Like I'm trying to figure that out. I thought I had downloaded it, but
Okay, so somebody an IA posted, I can't remember who it is.
yeah, I can open a breakout room. Anyone that needs help with the setting up VS Code.
Yeah, go there.
All right, I'll just have it open that anyone can join.
Thanks so much. Mariana, did you just forget to put your hand out?
How do you join a breakout?
Yeah, how do we join?
I have to open them. Just give me 1 sec.
Oh, okay.
So on VS Code, when I click on index.html and open in default browser, it opens up, but it just shows up a blank page. Like it doesn't show any.
Yeah. You might not have any HTML.
Did you save it first?
Yeah.
How do I save it?
Control S.
All right, Anthony, go on over into a breakout room. Matthew,
Yeah,
do you need me to make one?
Yeah, is it, I was just wanting to double check you guys able to join it now. I'll be in room 1.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Nancy, if you just want to go ahead and share your screen, you have
Yeah.
it installed, but
I
it's
have
just,
it looks different, so I don't know what I missed or did wrong, but this is what my screen looks like, and I don't have a file like he did.
okay. Let's look at your terminal. And can you just LS here real quick? Okay. And then so CD HTML. Now if you do just do a code dot here, code space dot.
Code space dot. Ah, okay. Great. And this just trust this, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And there you go. There's your index HTML.
Okay, great. Awesome.
So yeah, from here on out, I know yesterday we used Riplet, but from here on out, this is going to be like the norm. We're going to create files in the new day, and then you'll just code dot right into it.
Okay, code dot. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Matt, you want to go ahead and share your screen? Do you have it installed? What are you working on?
Yeah, I have it installed, and it's hold on a second, I'm trying to.
Maybe it's offensive to have my deal with it glasses on right now.
Those glasses are amazing. Okay, so what I was, there we go. Get rid of that. The issue that I was having is I was getting this when I try to use touch. Make it bigger.
Touch, the term touch is not. Okay, I don't know what Jim's stance is. I personally am not a fan of using VS Code's terminal. Just because weird stuff like this happens. Does it have the same issue when you do it in your terminal?
No, I can use touch inside of here and it makes stuff and it's fine. What I can and I think I know how to solve it. It's just going to take me a little bit, but near as I can tell, this one for the terminal and where WSL is not the same place that
right,
that the
VS Code terminals in.
VS Code terminal is.
Okay.
And so it's not getting the touch stuff from there.
Touch is not recognized. Check the
So like I was able to do it and follow along. I just had to make the extension. I just like went over here to the Explorer and created an index by
yeah, just right there.
Right. So
Yeah.
like I was able to do all that stuff, but it just doesn't like this.
Yeah.
And even the .code works and it opens up the Ubuntu thing. So it's weird because like they're half linked, but not
right. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's like it kind of works. And like touch is such a basic command. That's not
right.
Can you just okay, well you created the index here. So if we ls, what shows up in this terminal, I guess? And that's the one you created manually in VS Code, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that's the thing that's so, and that's what I was saying that's different is this is in a different part. If I do the PWD, so this one's in like a home/Maddie, and this other one is in users Maddie. Well, I then put it into documents in that just because I don't want to just start making random index stuff.
That terminal that you open in VS Code is going to automatically be, I guess, in that directory wherever those files are.
So I was wondering, so is this in the directory that WSL is in, or is it in the directory from opening the Visual Studio one?
From opening the Visual Studio.
Oh, so it's supposed to be in Visual Studio's base path.
What do you wait?
Like, in other words, this home would be like before that, technically on my computer would be like C users, Maddie, wherever Visual Studio's folder is, and then the home represents all that.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
It's like wherever. Okay, so if you just opened up VS Code on its own, I believe it would be right at use like your root directory. But let's say in your actual terminal, if you CD'd into week 1, day 2, or day 3, and then you did that code dot, that VS Code terminal would be at the exact same, or should be, I should say, the exact same level. Is that?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't This might be a question for Jim. Unfortunately, I'm not too familiar with Ubuntu.
That's fine.
It's something I'm looking to get into over this cohort. I wanted to switch from a Mac, but I apologize. I'm not that. So
yeah, I can.
Can we try? So in your terminal, not the VS Code one.
Yeah.
This works fine where you're able to go into, can you CD into like today's lesson? Can you just open like VS Code directly from this terminal? Once you get to today's lesson, is that fine?
Like I can open code right here. Is that what you mean, or?
By doing like, so like, let's go to today and try to just, let's try to add like a touch on like a CSS file onto this. So if we go into like,
oh yeah, but that's what I mean is that, so from what I'm seeing on this is I can do touches on this, no problem.
Okay.
And I have for all of the other stuff with the Star Wars and all that junk.
Yeah.
But anything that is in here, I cannot find it anywhere else. So that's what I mean is that for some reason this is in a whole different path on my computer than everything else is. So I cannot find the SEER37 folder on my computer. I can't find, I have no clue where it is. So
no, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so if I create a touch on here, I will never find it in the Visual Studio. And vice versa. So that's what I mean is that, like, I think that somewhere, and that's why you see I was looking at like the settings and stuff. And so like this one's starting directory is this. And so it's something Ubuntu and then home Maddie. And so I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, it's kind of buried. Oh.
Exactly where that is, but it's yeah, I have to play with it. So
okay, yeah, that's something else. Okay. I'll let Jim know. Hopefully this is something we can figure out today.
Okay.
I don't think it's that big of an issue. Yeah, I think like you said, it's just some weird buried in some weird.
Once I figure it out and I put them both in the same starting directory and I get stuff rolling, then it's good. And I may have to uninstall and reinstall Visual Studio into this.
Yeah, because it's in the wrong. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'll let Jim know right now just so he knows and he's aware. Yeah, because I don't want to mess with all your files right now.
Feeding a 2-year-old though, so I'll let you help the next person.
Yeah, good luck, man.
He's normally pretty good though, so
that's good. I've heard some things about terrible twos.
Half of them are true. Yeah. and the other half are worse than you thought.
Yeah, yeah. All right, cool,
So-
man. Well, I'll see you after lunch.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Let's put that in there right now. All right. Anthony, what do you got going on?
Share my screen with you, bro.
Sure.
So, yeah, I was having the problem of trying to get code. So, like, for example, like this. Like I would touch in code dot and it wouldn't pop up.
Okay. Yeah, let's can you just open up VS Code manually?
Yeah. And then also my code looks like this. I don't know. I don't get the sidebars. I'm not sure why.
What is the button you click? There's a button somewhere. I personally I don't use VS Code. I use a different text editor.
Yeah.
But there's a button somewhere that
Yeah, I was trying to look for it like half of the time. So like half the lesson, I was like, oh, where the fuck do I go to freaking find this stupid sidebar on the left?
Okay, hit do Shift Command P.
Shift Command P.
Okay, cool. And then yeah, hit that. Okay, it looks like you already did it, but sometimes you have to do it again. Hit that first one that says recently used, that shell command, install code command and path. Okay, successfully, awesome. So close out VS Code now.
Mm-hmm.
And then make sure you close out your terminal as well. And make sure they're both like force quit, that they're not like, you know, like sleeping or anything. When you're changing something in the shell with that command you just did, so the terminal has to like update, and it only updates when you completely terminate it.
Yeah.
And then when you relaunch the terminal, we can try it again.
Okay.
But you should be good. Let me see if there was one student.
Okay.
She's gone. Yeah, so just CD into today.
The...
I don't know, is it like in your...
I'm using terminal, or should I use code?
No, the terminal is perfect. LS, where are we at right now? All right. Do you have it in like your desktop or something?
He said to put it in the desktop, right? Or to make a new file.
I made a new file personally myself.
I made both, bro. Because I'm telling you, he was going so fast. I was like, you know what? I don't even know what to do.
So yeah, I see like you have a bunch of folders right now. Like I personally, what I would do is right here, I would make a directory and just call it like General Assembly or something, and then just put everything inside of that folder. That makes sense. Just so then like your root directory doesn't get so messy.
Yeah.
But I mean, just for the purpose of right now, do you know where today's at? Is it that HTML CSS lesson?
Yeah, I have two, so I can open up desktop, and then it's gonna be there. And then go to HTML. Oh. Here. And then I go to touch index, right?
LS first. Let's see. Do you have it? Looks like you got it already. All right. So try just doing a code dot right here. Code space dot. Command not found code. Weird. That's interesting. It said it was successfully installed. Shell command. Quit VS Code relaunch. Interesting. Yeah, that was weird because we got this. Is that what you got the first time you did it too? It said successfully installed.
I'm not sure. Maybe I'm pretty sure it was the first time I did it for the.
Weird. Wait, let me just check something. When you have your terminal open, hit. Oops. Hold on, let me check something. Weird. And after we did that, you like hard stopped both the terminal and VS Code?
Yeah, like I heard, like I force quit and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Weird. Command F on code. One sec. Let me look at this. That's interesting. All right, open up VS Code one more time for me.
All right.
I guess we'll try to uninstall it and then reinstall it. And then yeah, do the commands. All right, it's
Command P.
Shift Command P. Yeah. Just type in shell command again. Don't click that. Just type shell command. And then hit that uninstall. Okay, it says successfully. Is your terminal force quit right now?
I can do it. Yeah, I can do it right now.
Yeah, just force quit that. Okay. Okay, now try hit the command shift P again. Shift command P. Try to install it again. Okay. Now force quit VS Code. And then we'll try this one more time. If this doesn't work, and I might have to point you to Jim too. I'm not sure. That's weird.
Yeah.
Because I know with other students, this is basically everything we've had to do and then it worked. So I'm hoping this is...
Yeah. Nope. Yeah, it gave me the same thing again.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like... Okay, I think we can check something. Hold on. I forgot how to do this. Let me look this up real quick. Let's see. I think it's in. Let me try something. But you're on Zeesh, so I'm on Bash. Okay, can you just CD back to the root directory? And then do ls space dash ls space dash a, like the dash, not a slash. The one right next to, just make sure you have a space, yeah, between that. Dash A, yep. And then hit enter. Okay. Oh, but you have a bash profile. I wonder if that's what's happening. And it's not. You have a bash and a Zeesh? Oh no. I wonder if that's the issue. I think, okay, I think that might be the issue.
So I'll have to delete one.
Well, basically basically you have two different shell files. You have bash and zeesh, and I wonder if it's installing it on one, but since you're on, I wonder if it's installing it on bash, but you're running on the zeesh shell.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, oh, let's just open it up. But if you can't even do the command, it doesn't work. Okay. Let me yeah, I gotta talk to Jim about this. I don't want to mess with your shell. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry. I mean, that's not that big of a deal since everything's working fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get that figured out by the end of the day today for sure.
That's good.
All right. I'm putting a note down now, so I won't forget about you, Anthony.
All right, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I'll see you after lunch, man.
All right, you too. Have a good one.
You too. Jesus.
Hello.
Hi, did you need something?
Yes, yes. Hi. I was wondering how do you use the Prettier
Extension? Yeah, you want to share your
extension?
screen?
Correct.
Yeah, if you share your screen, I can show you real quick.
Okay, one sec. Messages. Share screen. All right, so can you see my screen?
Yeah, it looks good. Oh yeah, good job making that real ugly. And then okay. Did you download the Prettier extension? Can you click on
Yeah.
it? Click on it. Cool. 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 Go to your code. All right, right click. Yep, and just hit format document. Yep, and then click on Prettier. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just a format document with.
Yep.
And then Prettier. Oh, okay. All right, awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Hello.
Hi.
So you have it installed, you're just getting the code dot to work?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to share your screen?
Okay. Okay, the screen, right?
All right, and then let's go to your terminal. Not that one. I'm not a fan of that.
Oh, my actual terminal?
Yeah.
I think I need to share this one again.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right. So can you LS? Where are we at right now? Let's go to today's work.
Okay, so code. And
If you you know, there's like tab complete. If you just type in the first letter and then just hit tab.
oh, okay, okay.
And you don't even have to do all these CD commands. You can do, so yeah, hit tab again. And then type D. Well, I guess you can't really tab complete here because now it doesn't know, but yeah, then just do 3. And then hit enter. Awesome.
Oh, okay.
So you can just do it all in one. Okay, just LS. Let's see what we have right now. Okay. Is this where did you, when Pierce had us create, let me see. Did you create that directory HTML CSS lesson? Is that somewhere else?
Yeah, I did that using this terminal actually.
Oh, the one in VS Code?
Oh no, I did it using this terminal that I'm showing you.
Where is that at?
Where did I put it?
I
put it on the desktop.
Oh, okay. I just assumed it was in here. That's my bad.
Oh, it's okay. So did you
well,
want
we
me to
can try it out here anyway. Just do code space type I and then hit tab. And then I don't know, H, I guess, and then hit tab. Okay, and then hit enter. Okay, no worries. All right, let's open up your VS Code.
Okay.
Sorry, we're gonna switch back.
All right.
Okay, hit Shift Command P. All at once. Shift. Okay, there we go. It looks like that was recently used. Okay. Okay, click on that shell command, install code. Okay, successfully installed. All right, now we're gonna force quit VS Code and your terminal.
Okay.
Every time you add a new shell command like this, the only way it updates is if you completely like quit it.
Oh, okay.
So let's force quit VS Code and the terminal.
I thought I did that during the install fest, but I guess I did it wrong.
I mean, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, so you probably did it right.
Did you want me to open up VS Code again?
Did you force quit the terminal as well?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just open up the terminal.
Okay.
And then just CD into your desktop into that wherever you made that HTML CSS lesson.
Okay. Like in the folder or like in the desktop?
I thought, didn't you say you made it in your desktop?
Yeah. So go into the HTML CSS lesson?
Let's just
folder?
try doing the code right here. So just
Okay.
code space H and then just hit tab. Okay, and then hit enter. There we go. Did that work?
It's okay. Oh, it opened up.
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
I'm
What about-
thinking what happened is you just didn't force quit your terminal, maybe. That's probably, but it works now.
Okay.
So
What about the dot thing? Is it the same thing?
so dot means wherever you are. So
Oh.
if we did code dot, it would open up VS Code with the documents, General Assembly, Spectacle, Visual Studio, it would open them all.
Oh, okay.
That's what that dot means. So if you
Oh.
CD'd into HTML, CSS, and then did
Mhm.
code dot, it would
Mhm.
just open that. But since we're not in that folder, that's why I told you to do code HTML. That's what that dot represents. So it's the same
Okay.
exact thing when you do when you're doing like a commit to GitHub and you do that git add dot.
Uh-huh.
That dot represents everything in that folder. So yeah, that just keep that in mind.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
I'll see you in class.
right.
I think you can move back into the main room.
Okay. I'll do that. Thanks
Awesome.
again.
Yeah, of
Bye.
course. See ya. Um,
All right. Welcome back from lunch. Hopefully you ate something that was healthy. Quick tip when you're going through a cohort like this, eat something green. You want to eat something that's good, gonna feed your brain. So eat some greens, have some water, try to relax for an hour. It's gonna be good for your brain because you want to recover when you go to sleep. Okay, let's get started. This is gonna be, we don't have that much more to go over, but we're gonna go over CSS. Sorry if I freaked you guys out and showed you that blog. I'm not gonna grade anything. I was just giving you guys an idea of something to work on, you know, tonight if you get some time, just to work on a blog. Look at another web page and copy some things. You don't have to do it. It's totally fine. Just a suggestion. In fact, I'm not gonna ever assign you guys anything. So everything I give you is a suggestion. Looks like people are pouring in. Another quick thing, I just want to reiterate, you can't really miss a day in this cohort. If you want to pass with flying colors, whenever something is assigned, or you need to download something or whatever, do it before the end of the day, before you go to sleep. So that's that. And then one more thing, if you guys message me while I'm talking to you, I'm not gonna remember. Not gonna remember. So you gotta use your IAs to your advantage, or like post your question in the channel. Any input, you know, you have, there'll be time for that too. Write it down, and there'll be time for input and stuff like that. Okay, I'm gonna hit this and take questions at the end, and that's that. This is gonna be a code along, so you can kind of follow along with me in VS Code, and then I'll stay to answer questions at the end. But we're gonna get into some CSS. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Okay. So I'm gonna set this up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a folder called CSS, and then I'm gonna CD into that folder, and I'm going to create a file. You guys already did this with the index.html, so I'll show you. So I'm in my folder called CSS37. Clear this. I'm going to create a folder. So I'm gonna go make directory. I'm gonna call this CSS. And you'll see on the left here, it created a little folder and there's nothing in it. All right. Then I'm going to CD into that folder. And I'm going to create a file. And I'm going to call it, it's going to be a .css file. So this is going to be my first CSS file. And it's my only CSS file for this particular project. I'll call it all right, so then if I go in here, I'll see my beginning.css file. All right, and that's how I create my CSS file. All right, let's go back here. Okay, so basically, there are 3 ways to add styles to a website, and only one of them is There's one that is the best practice, all right? But I'm going to show you all three because they're good for testing, basically. So inline styling is one that is really good for testing, and internal styling, the same thing. I'll explain what those are, and external style sheets. This is the way that is best practice, okay? They're not mutually exclusive, so you can do all three in any document. You just need to know how they work together. Basically, you can do inline styling by adding the style attribute to any element. And several JS libraries like Angular uses inline styling to dynamically perform things on elements. And the same in React, you'll see that later. But here's an example. On the body tag, we have a style keyword there, and then equals, and then we're changing the background color to this hexadecimal into this color. So check this out. I'll show you. So I have this H1. I'm just going to say style. And these are a bunch of different values that I can use inside of style. So I can use, these are CSS values. So I can say, let's say color, and I can change that color to blue violet. All right. So this H1 should have that style now. So I'm going to save and go to it, and we see this is my first title tag is now blue violet. All right. So that's inline styling. So every element on the page, I could go inline. That would be very cumbersome, and I could do that, but I could do that. So I could go to the span tag and do the same thing. And instead of using violet, I could use another color like this grayish violet. Change it to blue and save that. And now it's this new bluish color. So good for testing, not good for much else. So this color here is a named color, dark blue, and it also has what's called a RGB hex value. So there's some color pickers out there that you can use to get exact colors. Nice tool to use. The next is internal style sheets. So an internal style sheet just means it uses the word internal because we can go inside of this HTML. It's internal to this HTML document. So I can be inside of this HTML document and I can introduce a style tag. It looks like this. So it's usually going to be right above the head tag. It's like the last thing in the head. So this is my closing head tag. So I can go here and I can create a style tag. So I can just type style, open that up. And instead of saying, changing the color here in line, I'm going to delete that for the time being. I'm going to put it inside of this style tag. All right. Now I am actually typing CSS. So I need a selector first, so I can say H1, and then I need a bracket. So I'm actually dealing with CSS right now inside of the style tag. And if I want to deal with the color, I just say color, let's change it to this. Okay, let's save that. So this is an internal, this is internal styling. So let's save that. I'm gonna go back to the browser, see what happened. There's my color, my new color. So that's another way of dealing with styles. Okay, but the best practice is actually external style sheets. And this is what you're going to be using most of the time, but this is going to be your go-to. So all we have to do is create a folder like I did, called CSS. Doesn't actually have to be called CSS, but we have to make a folder and then put a style.css, a .css file inside of that folder, and then we can link that using a link tag. And so this will actually bring in the external style sheet. Now, in many of your projects, in fact, well, I won't say all, but on many of your projects, what's going to happen is you may be using a bootstrap, you may be using a style sheet, you know, from a template or from a website somewhere like Bootstrap, and then you may have your own styles that you want to add on top of that. And so you'll have multiple link tags in your HTML. So let's put that in our HTML here. So I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to delete this style tag for now, or I could comment it out. Either way. All right, so what you have in here is you have a link tag, and notice that a link tag does not close. So it's just open. It has no little backslash or closing tag. So that's the first thing to notice. Next, you have an attribute. You have two attributes. The first is rel, which stands for relationship. And I'm doing the hover thing again. So it says this attribute names a relationship of the linked document to the current document, right? So this is a style sheet. All right, and then you have an href. And this attribute specifies the URL of the linked resource, right? So, and this resource can be absolute or relative. So this is the path to my CSS file. It's inside of the folder CSS, and this is the file name. And actually mine is beginning.css. It's a terrible name, but let's change that. Or it won't work. Oh, IntelliSense is what that's called. So it's like, you have a file named, and a good way to know that work, if you hit command, hold command and click here, it'll take you to that file. So I'm there now. And we can enter some CSS into here. It could be anything. So if I go here now, I don't have any CSS. It all went away. Let's add some. So I think I have just an H1 here. So I'll go H1 selector, open up a bracket, and I'll say color. And then I'll say family. So I can change my font there. Let's change it to this. And I can say display. Let's do let's do cool. We'll save that and this. And you'll be able to see this is my first title tag. So these are some cool, those are the 3 ways that you can implement CSS into a web page or a website. So I have something else for you guys. I do see one question. Shay, are you the only one with your hand raised?
You know what? I think I figured it out. I was trying to figure out how to add a file to my Visual Studio Code.
Okay.
So that I could get a CSS going. But cool, yeah. So we're gonna mostly be doing external links then, right?
Yeah, you'll mix it up, you know. Amir?
Yeah, what's the shortcut for commenting out chunks of code?
Oh, commands and then slash or question mark.
Cool.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. Great. So in CSS, we have selectors. And you've heard me say selectors a bunch of times. This is a selector, and you use it to select whatever element you're dealing with. So these are elements, head, body, H1, span. This is an element. So I would use this selector to deal with that. I'm dealing with H1 there. So if I wanted to deal with multiple and just do styling on multiple elements, I could use a comma. So if I wanted to use the same styling on not just the H1, but also my span tag, I could just do that. All right. Save some time there, right? And then if I was going to deal with an ID selector, I could just use this little hashtag. So, for example, I had a span tag that had an ID of unique. If I wanted to select this element, specifically, this span tag specifically, I'd have this specific ID. I would simply have to use this hashtag and say unique. If I wanted to deal with it, and I could change that color to be whatever I want. All right. So this is how you select IDs. If I wanted to select a class, then I'd have to use a dot. And I could, the rules keep going, they keep applying. So a dot is to select classes, and this hashtag is to select IDs. Super important to remember, super key, super basic, but often forgotten. Okay. So I have some practice exercise for you guys here. Where is it? It's right here. So we're going to set the size of the font to 28 pixels on the element with an ID comments slash dash title. That is your exercise. I'm going to post it here in lessons. Oh, somebody didn't know where we were. And then I'll take questions. Are there any questions? I see Charlie.
Yeah, if you go back to the JS real quick, I wanted to just confirm something to you, or your VS Code rather. I'm sorry. Go to the CSS page. When you so hashtag unique dot not unique, those are classes and IDs. Does it just you don't have to define something as a class? It's just dot unique would mean all the uniques.
Yep. So I would need a class.
So right, so it's hashtag for IDs.
Yep. So if I had a class, it would have to be.
Okay, so you have to establish it first.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's this attribute.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just want to clear that up. Thanks.
Yeah, that's how that goes. Lily.
Hi. Yes. The question I have is related to the specificity of CSS.
Okay.
Like how, I don't know, I have difficulty to calculate that. I don't know, do you understand my question?
Nope, I missed it.
Oh, I was asking about the CSS specificity. You know, how like the difference between using ID and classes. Like, is I use, for example, an ID and an element, and then I use a class, which one will be like take priority? Kind of, that's the question.
Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. If I had multiple elements here and I wanted to get at each individual element, I would use, or affect each individual element, I use an ID. But an ID needs to be unique. Whereas a class, I have not unique. I could put this class on, all of these elements here. And it's the same class. And so when I go into here, all of those elements will be affected by this code block. So I'm affecting everything in this class with this one code block. So I go here. I have 3 span tags that say the same thing. So I have 3 span tags that say the same thing, and they all have that really cool little font color there.
One other question. So what about, for example, I have a session that hold an ID, but also hold a class at the same time. And I'm trying to apply, for example, a boundary to my class, but I want that element, that session with the ID, do something else. I just want to understand how CSS3, that part of.
I put an ID on here called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I wanted to affect that element, I would go to the ID using this hashtag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you actually can't do that. You have to do it like, let's call it an ID of sometimes. And okay, so just one of these spans has this ID. So only one of these spans should be blue. So one span is blue.
So ID have priority. Okay.
IDs have to be unique. So I can't have another ID of fun times anywhere else on this page. If I was going to do that, I would just use the class.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's keep going. So I see two hands. I see Ryan. How's it going?
Hi. I think I'm getting the general concepts of everything, but I think I have typos or something in my code while I was trying to follow along with you, and I was just wondering if you could share your code so that I can just we can like make sure that we have the right syntax so that things work.
Sure. Yeah, I've changed it probably 3 times.
Thanks.
I'll do that. No problem. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you guys about combinators really quick. So we talked about descendants and children a little bit with nested elements after we talked about nesting. Basically, the most common combinator is the descendant combinator. That's the one that you're going to see all the time. And you just use the descendant selector to target elements nested within another element, regardless of the depth of the nesting. So it can be deep within another element, but it'll still work. So right here, what this is, we have a span tag. This dot subtitle is a class, like we talked about, and this is an H3. So what this is going to do, it's going to match all span tags nested anywhere with an H3 tag having a class of subtitle. All right. So the best thing to do is to go through these. There's a few, maybe 3 other little practice exercises that you guys can do. And basically it has you use each of these combinators or selectors. So like this one is the child selector. So this one selects all P tags that are direct children of a div. So the best way to read these are to just look at the last thing before the bracket. That is what is being affected. So with this one, all P tags are being affected. You kind of read it from right to left. So all P tags, this selects all P tags that are children, because this is a child selector of a div. Okay. This is the adjacent sibling selector. So this one is like, it's a plus sign. So that could be like, you know, that's how code is. So this one would select P tags, once again, from right to left, where they are like immediately preceding a div or direct siblings of a div, because siblings sit right next to each other. Okay. General selector, you won't see that that much. Any questions? Any last questions before I go? I see Shauna. You're muted. I can't hear you. You're unmuted, but I can't hear you. Can anyone else hear? It's okay. Just put your question in the chat and we'll get to it, or Slack it to me, either way. And Lily, is your hand still up from earlier?
Sorry, no.
So no question? Okay, cool. Cool. Great. For further study, you can totally check out pseudo classes. You can just click on this link. We'll get into those. And there's another thing here called specific. Say this word 5 times really fast. Specificity, which deals with like how browsers decide which CSS rules get applied when there's a conflict. Meaning, inline you say this, but in your external document you say something else. So that's a good subject to check out, especially if you're going to go the front end developer route. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. You guys are going over to another room, James's room now. I will stay here to answer any questions.
Well, sorry to jump in the call. It was actually the question I have, the last part that you just showed.
Okay.
That was the thing that I was trying to understand, the CSS specificity. I think the pronunciation was my issue. But the question I had earlier about calculating the CSS specificity, it was more related because I was trying to understand how the website render the style, like what has priority. So I think that's related to the specificity that you just showed in the screen, but it's no longer there.
Okay.
So
Cool.
about one question before we go, what is the difference between pseudo classes and pseudo elements?
Between
Pseudo classes and pseudo elements?
Oh, pseudo. You mean pseudo classes?
Pseudo. What is the pronunciation again?
Yeah, pseudo class, pseudo element.
Pseudo class and pseudo element. So what is the difference between these two?
Pseudo class affects multiple elements, and a pseudo element just affects one thing.
Okay, but like how they are built, like
What do you
what they do.
What I would do is I
Yeah.
would go into MDM.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like pull it up and then try to implement it. There's a little example there that you can use. In MDM, they have in the docs, they have like little snippets that you can drag into your VS Code and try.
Okay, thank you.
They have little things like hover, and stuff like that. So
hover is something that is already built in, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Benjamin.
I don't know if this was mentioned before, but if I'm trying to look through some of the recordings to just kind of review some stuff, where would that be located?
I think the IAs can like pin that YouTube channel into the lessons channel. I think that would probably be the best thing to do with the videos, right?
Okay, I'll definitely reach out to them. Thanks.
Yeah, is Matthew there or?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Can you guys like pin the recordings into the lesson show?
I'll have to double check with Jim. I believe there should be, from what I understand, it's going to be shared through YouTube, but I'll see where these recordings are being held. Sure.
Yeah, so that's probably the best way to do it.
Thank you.
All right, well, that's it. You guys head over to Jim's room and he'll keep going.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Wait, is there a link for this one?
It's the link that's pinned to the lessons channel.
All right, got it. Yeah.
Cool.